Video games. We've all heard of them. They're involved in many U.S. citizens' lives, about 65% of them to be exact. Here's the thing. Many people say that video games are bad for your health, and others say the opposite. This debate has lasted since the dawn of video games, asking the lasting question, are video games actually good for your health? That's what I'm covering today, the health, pros and cons of video games. I'll be starting with the pros. Here are some of the pros that I found while researching this topic. Number 1. It helps with memory. Continuously using the same buttons, but each button has a different action, you have to remember what each button does. This can help with memorization skills. Remembering tactics to help win and get rewarded for some winning tactics can reward you for remembering things. If the player dies to a boss, they will remember the fighting style and fighting patterns for the next time they try to go against him. Number 2. Video games can bring people together. Video games are usually multiplayer or online, which means you can play with friends or other people on the game. Video games can also give people a topic to talk about and help people make new friends. Video games can also digitally bring people together by putting them on the same server. According to Impact of Video Games on Human Behavior and Health by Nichita, Tabanschi, Cernisov, and Aritom Martinuic, I quote, "Video games can be used to learn new skills and improve players' hand-eye coordination. Hand-eye coordination is helpful in many ways. In sports like basketball, you have to look at the basket and shoot the ball without looking at your hands. And even for people who don't play sports, it can help with typing so you can get faster and more efficient. Learning new skills quickly is a good skill that can help with jobs in schools. So in turn, you can get higher grades and get a good job. New skills are part of learning the game itself. Normally, different characters have different abilities, so you have to learn when and where and how to use said abilities. Video games can teach subjects like history or math. This is helpful because, as I said earlier, most people in the United States play video games, especially kids. So if teachers, parents, tutors, and other adult figures can gamify things, the kids will most likely remember it for something like a test because it was fun to learn or play that event or subject. Kids or students can use the games to learn about subjects on their own time without the need of a teacher, giving some alone time to help them understand where they are in the understanding of a topic without all the stress of having to please the adult. Video games can also change the game mechanics to teach people, like what happened with Minecraft when they made Minecraft Education Edition. You can get rewarded with getting a question right and have a flood of dopamine, the feel-good chemical, which can also help with memorization. It allows people to connect around the world and supports creativity. Let's say there are some long-distance friends that both play the same video game. They can talk to each other on the server while doing what they like and playing together. According to Impact of Video Games on Human Behavior and Health, it says, many video games allow players to be creative and design their characters, levels, or environments. This can be a great way to express oneself and develop one's imagination." End quote. Video games can support friendships and creativity in more ways than I can explain for now. Now it's time to move on to the cons. More recently, there have been more pros and cons, so there will not be much to discuss. Number 1. Video games can have kids go over recommended screen time hours, can induce eye strain and headaches. The recommended screen time for kids is 1 to 2 hours a day. With kids gaming more than 2 hours a day, possibly up to 10, it can lead to some health problems. Still speaking of too much screen time, with those many hours of gaming, it can lead to eye strain from staring at the screen for too long, or being too focused on the game to get basic necessities like water, which can lead to headaches. Number 2. According to Impact of Video Games on Human Behavior and Health, it says, individuals may develop an addiction to video games. When you hear the word addiction, what do you think of? Alcohol, maybe, but addictions are just the fact or condition of being addicted to a particular substance, thing, or activity, excerpt from Google. Or it's just really hard to stop doing an activity. That's what happens here. You're so into playing video games that it becomes a habit to play video games for hours, which isn't good for your work. Addictions to video games can prevent you from getting homework, work, projects, or chores done, so you can get into a bad situation with gaming. Once again, you might get headaches and eye strain. Your back, neck, hands, and arms might get sore, and then you get bad posture, which can lead to more health problems. Staying up late can, quote, interfere with an individual's sleep patterns, leading to sleep deprivation, end quote. Excerpt from Impact of Video Games on Human Behavior and Health. Sleep is very important. Without it, injuries won't heal as fast, your brain will slow down, you won't be able to think properly, and your eyes will droop. With video games on screens, the blue light from the screens can interfere with melatonin, the chemical that helps you fall asleep and keeps you up at night. So, video games are keeping your brain from letting you fall asleep easily. Without enough sleep, you might stop paying attention to things like announcements, teachers, work, videos, and so on. It might also impact the way you play video games. In conclusion, it all comes down to the player, or you, to make these decisions on their own, or your own. And from the surprising pros and cons of gaming, quote, you have to be the one to make the choice. Thank you for watching.